Good morning and welcome to another edition of Coffee with Tom and Joanne. I'm Tom Matthews.
And I'm Joanne Toronto. This morning, we are joined once again by marketing extraordinaire, Jenny Pardo de Zilla. And Jenny is going to be talking with us today about marketing chores. Each week, each month, each day, as a business owner, you have chores that need to be done to keep your business top of mind. So Jenny, why don't you kick it off with marketing chores?
Sounds so daunting, doesn't it? Right?
Yeah.
I think, I was thinking about it the other day and I'm like, who does the dishes in the house? Like, it's not a magic dishwasher.
Right.
It's not a magic hamper. Somebody is actually doing it to keep the house running. And the same thing has to happen for your marketing, right? So there are things that I think every agent should be doing on the regular that include marketing. One is certainly looking at your database, right? Because your database is the lifeblood of your business, and it's how you're doing perhaps your email marketing or note cards or whatever it is, looking at your warm and hot list. Is that up to date? Do you need to move somebody to a different list? All of that. Do you have new information? Did you meet somebody that needs to be added to that list? It's a lot easier to do that weekly than it is monthly or quarterly, right? Because then you're like, I met a lady named Joanne. I don't know where I met her, what we talked about. It's a lot easier to update frequently. So that's a big one.
Yeah.
If you have live listings, if you have active listings on the market right now, it is your duty to check the major websites to make sure that it is represented the way that you expect it to be represented, right? I know you know this.
One of our weekly least desired chores, but we check all the major websites to make sure
that you've got to do it
correct and that there aren't any mistakes.
There aren't any mistakes. They happen because it is still zeros and ones, right? Computers talking to computers, and gremlins happen. And I will tell you that when they typically happen, just so you're aware, they're more likely to happen if you've made a change in your MLS. So if you've made a price change, if there's been a status change in any way back and forth, if you've changed photos, you definitely want to make sure that you are double checking those. For the Gibson agents out there, I would also say, if you're changing photos in MLS, you need to talk to your OMC, because they will need to go through and do it on the back end of Sotheby's for you so that it will syndicate out properly. But yeah, you should be checking for the Gibson agents, absolutely Gibson, Sotheby's International Realty.com, Sotheby's Realty.com, Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com. You don't really have to worry about Trulia because it is powered by Zillow, but you want to go where your clients have been promised their properties will be distributed too, right? If you have a luxury property, wallstreetjournal.com, some of those other websites as well, because if you've ever gotten that phone call Sunday morning, 7 a.m., my listing's not showing properly.
Yeah. Right? Or my open house didn't syndicate,
Yeah. All of those things you need to be checking. Chores. Some other things I would say are, what does your social media look like? Do you have a plan for your social media? Are you scheduling posts out? Are you in an in the moment type of person? For some people that really works. It doesn't work for me so much. I like to take some photos or plan some things out, and I use a software for that, but I have to make sure that I have time to schedule things out. I have one that I scheduled out. I've told you all this, but I have a 50-week marketing campaign that goes, and it's been going for 2 years now. Nobody really has caught on. They're going to get it now, but those posts are recycled.
Secrets.
Yeah, but they're evergreen posts. So they can be recycled. And even if my week goes sideways, my marketing is still happening because I put the work in at the beginning.
And I want to say, Jenny, just for as agents who Joanne and I have been working together for 19 years, what we have found is the best days to do real estate chores are Monday and Tuesday, early in the morning. And the reason for that is that in our marketplace, homes come on the market for sale on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So by Thursday and Friday, we're either hitting broker tours, showing houses. So we're not in the office. Typically on Mondays and Tuesdays, we're doing all of our paperwork after a weekend out working. So we find that's the most effective time in our calendar to be doing real estate chores. And like you said, one of the practices that we made was we chunked out, we want to write a handwritten note to every client we work with. So we used to do it every June. We would sit down, Joanne and I would try and write 350 handwritten notes.
Oh man.
and it was laborious. And like
Did your
we'd be
hands
yelling
cramp?
at each other and we'd hate it. And so now we just say every week, each of us write five
Mhm.
handwritten notes, very manageable. Took us about 8 months to get through the whole client list. And it allows us to write better messages and to be the process to be more enjoyable. So it's like every week.
You know what I also like about that chore is that writing those notes puts those people top of mind for me. So even if you've, purchased or sold a house with us and it's been 15 years, and it's keeping those people top of mind for me, because a lot of them, we're connected with on social media, we're watching what's going on in their lives, whatever. But being able to have that personal connection from our side to them, I think is paramount, just as important as us being top of mind for them. We want them to be top of mind for us in case there's an opportunity at real estate or otherwise that we think their family would be interested in.
And one other thing I want to add, Jenny, about the chores is that you have to do them when you're busy selling real estate, because the biggest trap that Joanne and I have run into, and I think all agents have, is you get busy transacting deals and you don't do your prospecting. And then you start riding the roller coaster where you're really, really busy, then really, really quiet, then really, really busy. And so it's so critically important to do it every week and to have it, like you say, in your calendar so that you can't miss it, and make it a habit. And they say it takes 66 days to form a new habit. So you can't give up on it. You have to put it in and do it every week, every day to really be consistent. But, so we've talked a little bit about, we've talked about email, we've talked about postcards. Tell us a little bit about real estate reviews, because that's something that's a big topic that has to do with these real estate chores. Can you tell everyone about those?
Yeah, so real estate reviews really comes from the ninja selling process. And the idea is that you should be reaching out to 2 clients a week to schedule an appointment with them to talk about their current real estate. And these are not necessarily people that have something on the market. The idea is that you're going to talk to them about what's happening within their neighborhood, and letting them know if there's been appreciation, depreciation, just really a review of their largest asset in their portfolio for most people, and letting them know what's happening. The whole point is an opportunity to really talk to your clients and to drive and to show value, right? I will tell you that when we talk to agents about some of the business practices, and real estate reviews are one of them, and note cards are the other one. Those are the 2 things in the ninja selling process that move the needle for agents more than anything else. So I think that needs to just be part of your process, right? It's system driven. Ninja selling is system driven. So adding that in is part of it. And we've talked about this a lot of times. Many agents, I have found that they get in, perfection gets in the way, right? So they overthink it, and all of a sudden it's like, oh man, I've got to create this 20-page review. I've literally seen people print out like a spreadsheet from MLS and just be like, I just want to swing by and say hello. And that's what works for them. So really, again, staying in touch. It also helps you if you're pulling numbers on the neighborhood, you're just reinforcing your knowledge base, which is also part of your marketing chores. Yep. Because even though it's really real estate chores, you should be able to speak on that at any point. And even if you wanted to whip up a quick social media post, if you're pulling a neighborhood, you could, because you've done the real estate review for somebody, you could take that data and create a social media post on it as well. So it's got double duty as far as I'm concerned.
And I think the frequency of these chores can be like weekly. If you want to do them weekly, they can be monthly for some things. Some things are annually, like writing your business plan would be an annual chore. So I think kind of chunking out what tasks need to be done, and then just sort of giving yourself an assignment. Yeah. What Tom and I do a lot is we have reminders in our calendar. Today is the day that we look at the newsletter and we, fill in the blanks and create the content, whatever we want to do with that. And it's every month, it's in the calendar and we know what day that's going to be. So some things are monthly, some things are weekly, like our Monday marketing Mondays. We have our agenda and all the chores that we do on Mondays. But what I love is just making it a system, right? Yeah. So it's still laborious.
Right.
Yeah. And I would say, the one thing that I would say is many agents break promises and appointments with themselves.
Yep.
And the same way, if you don't do the dishes for the week, they pile up.
Right.
If you don't do your marketing chores, it will pile up, and it does become harder. So
Yes.
if you're making time on your calendar, stick to it, because it's
Yes.
very, very important that you keep up with these.
Yeah.
I agree.
Thank
I
you.
agree.
Well, thank you, Jenny. This was another awesome call with Coffee with Tom and Joanne. I want to thank everyone for listening. And I'm Tom Matthews.
Thank you, Jenny. And I'm Joanne Toronto. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.